Good morning, and welcome to Wednesday, Mercury Wednesday. I've got some quick energy universe messages to you. The universe speaks in so many ways, a lot of ways. Last night was pretty interesting. The Pleiadians, Syrians, and Spirit. I don't know how to explain it. It just came to me. It was cool. So you may have had some vivid dreams and whatnot, or if you're, depending on your connection to the universe, you may have had some mystical things happen yesterday. So anyways, today's date, 4/30/2025 equals 16, Tower card. A change that clears blockages. If you're holding anything back, expect the dam to burst. 1 + 6 = 7, the Chariot. Overcoming any inner darkness and using it as positive energy to have a victory in life. The old must come down for new life. Ancient pathways have been opened. Victory and abundance is here now. This is just journal about my experiences last night. Spirit was basically showing me the differences between what is spirit and what is religion. Not in a negative way, just to show that it is everything, everywhere, and every word, every breath, every spiritual master, every star, card, plant, person, animal, rock, in self. So don't waste any time with arguing over beliefs. Everyone is allowed to have their own beliefs. If you're watching this video, Spirit is a love, guidance, protection, and happiness in your life. There's you've either learned to temper your mind and emotions for your own mental health, or you are learning how to. You're doing this so you don't blindly hurt people like your former self did. It's your own responsibility to tame the Hulk because you know what it is capable of. And in taming your Hulk, you know how purposeful it can be when guided in the right causes. We do not unleash a monster to solve a simple difference of opinion. We assign a monster when a monster is harming innocent people. That is all there is to say about that. There's talks of not only calming your rage, but calming your lusts in life. No single moment of pleasure is worth hurting others or going against yourself. Love is more beautiful of an experience than lust. But this takes maturity and strength to embody. You have become an honorable victory in your life. There is nothing that can really sway your integrity. You're a wise, good person who causes no harm. And you are aware of your own motives, which makes you aware of others' motives. The good life is here, free from traps of meaningless suffering. Release the ego and become the wise and honorable general in your life. Do not lead others by indulgences. At this moment, I had a strange flashback to a dream of a time when I was on my way to work and I had to take a dirt road because of the storm had flooded a road, and I had found a woman's body wrapped in a carpet after some men had brutally murdered her. And I don't know what that means yet, but it came to rise, so I wrote it down. So here we go with the astrology. Since it's Mercury Day, we look at Mercury. Mercury and Chiron are in Aries in the 10th house, and also in Bharani Nakshatra. As I wrote that, I smelled incense. Mercury and Chiron in Aries, 10th house. There's strong and potential challenging journey in your career and public life. You may feel direct and outspoken in your communications today when it comes to confronting wounded authority figures and self-expression. Self-expression heals oneself by challenging or confronting expectations of societal norms. Mercury and Chiron in Bharani Nakshatra, the star of restraint, the yoni, union of masculine and feminine, but also reflects being entangled in the world of desire. You could be experiencing strong sexual desires. Use this as a conduit to channel arts and talents, as work and discipline prepare you for what is coming into your life. It's a good day for breath work and meditation, or depending on your connection to your guides from the spirit world. Notice that you are being guided to and through the astral plane to walk in a more virtuous life with spiritual depth as a leader and authoritative figure whose power is psychoanalysis. Become familiar with being successful in this field, as it is your new means of wealth and prosperity. So, when I put depending on your connection to your guides from the spirit world, notice you're being guided to and through the astral plane. There will come a time in your life when you have really mastered your connection to the universe, the spirit world, parallel dimensions, other worlds, higher dimensional frequency beings, and you could be journeying the astral world in your day-to-day life. This is something that I'm not going to really go deep into because it takes going through the practices to get there, and it takes a long time. But once you know, you know. Everything in your life is a double, quantum reality. So, it says, become familiar with being successful in psychoanalysis as a new means of wealth and prosperity. You have been through struggle, suffering, confinement, restlessness, irritability, and impatience. You have judged from biased morals and have been very extreme in pride, arrogance, resentment, indulgent, sexually driven, vain, and narcissistic in your shadows. But you have patiently devoted your life to heal these shadows from your life. So you are perfect for helping others heal the same shadows. You are not perfect, and that's what makes a good guide to others. You know, I forgot to look into Lilith in the fourth house, because it's like right on the cusp of Libra and Scorpio. And this placement talks about conflicts and struggles and challenges in your home and family life. So those may arise also. It just went with Bharani Nakshatra. So Bharani Nakshatra is like being guided by death to the ego, being purified through fire. So you might have been feeling that lately. So when you're stuck in suffering, whether it be pain, rage, ignorance, indulgence, or things that you know will bring that Hulk energy out of you, your best form of action is to isolate and go through your own inner channels so you don't take these things out on other people. It's wise, it's wisdom to do these things. When you feel too much energy coming on, too much sporadic, overwhelming, too many being spoken at too much, not to, but spoken at. When your mind becomes frustrated, before you push that and project that onto others, find time to be with yourself, go through your emotions, channel what's going on, check into astrology, check into, meditation, find what's going through your process, and cleanse your inner self so that you can be walking in your right mind. So this is kind of being hinted on when it comes to confronting wounded authority figures. So a wounded authority figure is somebody driven by power, control, indulgence, leading by uncontrolled emotions rather than by betterment for, I'm gonna rationalize it in an army, right? If a general leads by his desires, indulgences, and arrogance, he will surely drive his military to defeat. They will die. So these are not leaders you would want to follow that live their life in pride, arrogance, hasty words, not processing their own mind and emotions, and projecting this onto others because they have learned it's easy to manipulate and influence others. So, you should express yourself in ways that challenge or confront societal norms. Like, for instance, I can't answer the phone right now, Mama, sorry. For instance, an old story or an old teacher taught me about Nordic ways. How it wasn't as brutal and Viking as the TV shows, right? they had a rule. When two people were angry with each other, they were to go to opposite outsides of the town or the village for 24 hours to evaluate why they were angry. Then come and meet, and if they were still angry with each other, they could hash it out. So this is very important because so many times in life, we are used to reacting when already stuck in the mud. Let's just say stuck in the mud. So most people, when you're saying, I need to withdraw and collect my thoughts, it arises anger in some. They believe they're demanding an answer right now. This is hostile, mental and emotional irresponsibility. So, it is not wrong to pull and think about what you're upset about before you use that towards something that could be harming to others. So today, Mercury and Chiron discussing topics of wisdom and communication about challenges in life that you've overcome. You'll probably be dealing with this today because you are birthing something new into life. You're uniting both your masculine and feminine aspects of self, which can lead to needing to control some very strong desires. So discipline is a good way to work through things like that. Discipline doesn't have to be marching orders. It can be a steady routine, something creative, something that opens up your energy to process both imagination, thoughts, morals, wants and needs in life, and express it in some way, right? Societal norms are filled with lots of demands and expectations and pressures, because that is how wounded authority figures have learned to get their way. Don't give them their way. So, if you've been battling, wondering your spiritual depth, and where you're going in life, you might want to look into psychoanalysis. Become well with this, not because of your amazing vanity and ego about how much you've studied. Rather, look at everything you've overcome in your life. You weren't perfect. In fact, you were probably one of the worst before you began working on yourself. Because you have overcome things that are very unhealthy in your life, this makes you suitable to be able to guide others through it, because you know the way. You're carrying a lantern. You walked in the dark with your lantern, so now you know the way to show others. It's only when we begin to try to guide others from ways that we have not walked where you will come into ignorance. You're going to always feel under the gun, under pressure. You're going to be trying to hold up this expectation of yourself, and That just shows you're trying to teach something that isn't a part of you. You've never walked that journey. So unless you walk that journey, you don't know what you're talking about. So stick to what you do know what you're talking about. All right, so we're going to pull some cards off of this energy. This is how I communicate with the universe. Every day gives a different planet's name. We look up what that planet's doing, see what it's with, who it's hanging out with, and that's the message for the day. It doesn't matter what your birth sign is. It doesn't matter. It's a universal phone call. It's like, hey, this is what's going on today. Mercury is telling you this is the energy of today. People may not understand, but this is what they really are experiencing. Many people hide these things because they don't know. They don't know God's cell phone number. And so they'll hold it within and put on their mask, which fractures their inner self and fragments your energy because you're going against what you're feeling. But when you know how to dial in, you know how to direct your energy, you know how to withdraw and alchemize, purify your intentions so that you live a better life. Because nobody lives a good life when they live in hostilities or denial. I heard once said, the louder, more bold and arrogant a person is, it is the true sign of how deeply afraid and terrified they are of their own soul. So anyways, let's pull some cards on this. We've got the World and the Celebration. Wrapping up a cycle and celebrating it with others that you resonate with. Having good times, a new life of happiness. Once you wrap up the old life, the new life has to come. So your new life is in celebration. You're in a pause moment. You're just waiting to see things right now. You're evaluating your situation. It's all part of this new cycle coming in. Don't be so worried about the past that you don't recognize what's being offered. Those cups are empty. Stop pouting. Stop looking at it. Look at what's being presented. It's a new world. You've been through this before. This is someone who has this is Chiron. Really is. Been through a lot of challenges, been through a lot of battles, been wounded, injured a lot, but you're still going. You still got one leg to stand on, and now you carry the staff with many other staffs from previous journeys. The wounded healer cycle is wrapped up. A new life comes where you do not have to live in your wounds anymore. Okay, here we go. Let's get some cards on this. Okay. Emperor and Four of Wands. You're coming off as very wise and experienced, and this is beginning a new foundation for you. A general, an emperor, doesn't become an emperor out of default. They've been through many challenges. They were a soldier. They were a platoon leader. They were a general. Then they were a king. And then they rose to the emperor. So they know everywhere from the bottom all the way to the top. And that's how they can delegate and give wise advice to all the kingdoms that are underneath them. Remember, an emperor is the king of multiple kings. He has many kings below him, and he is the lead over the all land. So something's being built in your honor. Something's being built in your honor, and it's a very well-deserved reward coming to you. You're going to have a happy event, and like we saw the celebration card come up. So be prepared for this new coming experience. Very happy. You radiate love. And the good life, that's all I can really say is 10 of Cups is like the really good life. Love, family bonding, happiness, enlightenment, everything is fulfilled. Purity. You've walked a long emotional road to get here, and now you have the rainbow. So remember, with that card coming out, it's letting us know there is nothing more to seek. You can stop chasing things at this time. We have the Seven of Wands, and Five of Pentacles. You're going to have to defend your position from people who are still stuck in lack mentality. You don't want to take on unnecessary arguments. Just say no and let that be the end of the sentence. Because who is coming to challenge you are people who are stuck in suffering and poverty consciousness. They don't want to heal. They don't want to. They're right in front of the church, right? The Five of Pentacles. They're literally right in front of the building that will help them. But arrogance and ignorance has them stuck in lack mentality, wounded victim consciousness. So just keep them at bay. You're being guided by a divine feminine because they see you as a child with new and wondrous eyes. Okay, so the divine Shakti spirit of the universe wants to show you some very divine, peaceful, happy things. Like you are her new child. You have a lot of wisdom, knowledge, and intelligence that does command authority. You don't do so in a hasteful manner. You don't, like we said, we're not ones who bark from unhealed authority. You're somebody who can easily break complications that others are arguing about, right? And you do this from a true and fair place. You take the high ground and you show others how to take the high ground. And you have very stimulating conversation. This card represents someone who is well-versed in the mind. Someone who is well-versed in the mind doesn't very much chatter all the time. They're not speaking just to be heard. They're not responding just to state their point of view. Most of the time, they're very observant, very refined. They process everything in their mind and then deliver the wisdom and the proper way to handle things from there. And you've got the counterpart, masculine and feminine right here. King and Queen of Pentacles. King is calm in his demeanor. Queen is receptive and ready for what's to come. The King and Queen of Swords comes out to let you know that not only do you speak truth, but you see through lies. This is probably why you are a very calm and reserved person. Because when you can see through a lie, the lie isn't so much the focus anymore. You see lies and manipulations, falsities, and you understand where these people come from. So, it's that energy of knowing how to read anyone in your world. But you don't let this on very well, although people do recognize it about you. You're someone who knows hidden motives of everything in the world. And I don't mean like everything as in you're so arrogant that you know it all. This is not a king and queen of swords type person. To become this intelligent and wise in your own mind is to know that you will never know everything, but you're very open and receptive to hearing all situations, because in the communication as you listen, this is where the truth comes out. It's like the energy of this. People come to you and they state what their situation is. And as they speak, it's almost like an indicator light, like yellow here, red there, green there, as they're communicating to you. So you know that the yellows are misunderstandings. You know the red is from arrogance and ignorance. And you know that the green has a good possibility to be the truth. And throughout people's conversations, you'll see this red, yellow, and green, many, many different areas. So it's those keynotes that you gather, collect the information, give yourself time to process, because an instant response is not a wise response. And then you come back with the truth. So, Spirit wants to show you this about yourself. You know, it takes a lot, going through a lot of shit, to become the king and queen of swords in one person. Ooh. Okay, we've got the Queen of Wands and the Fool. Queen of Wands is very powerful energy. And it's powerful because it's someone who is in complete confidence of themselves. They are passionate, which means not only are they inspiring and charming and alluring, they are also passion, will, attack without remorse. They are not afraid of their shadow traits. They use them and wield them as accordingly. Give the Hulk direction and he clears the ignorance. If you're not in control of your Hulk, you are one of those people that needs to be cleared of ignorance. Watch out for people who have controlled their Hulk. And they will destroy yours if you have not trained its mind. So what we've got here is to be bold and be proud of your accomplishments in life. You give a good first impression and you are able to shake the blues off of anybody very easily. You want to radiate your life in health and vitality. So this would mean finding a routine that does take care of your health. Energize yourself. Doesn't have to be extreme sports or pounding out 12, 13 hours a day in the gym. find a health routine. Get your vitality up, your vigor, because you're about to put things into action. And what you're putting into action is a complete, light-hearted, new experience where you are walking on faith. You cannot no longer be led into distraction anymore because you have completed an entire journey of your life. Now, your new cycle, you're beginning with optimism, open mind, free thinker. An open mind is someone who is not so stubborn and biased and set in their ways that they cannot retain new information and see how it fits. This can also represent how you can help wounded authority figures learn to release the steam and allow some room in their mind to think new. Every day's a new day. You're never gonna know what's coming tomorrow, and that's the beauty of it. You should be willing to embrace, like the Queen of Wands, whatever comes will not disturb your mind because you are confident in the wisdom that it takes to be open to new experiences and not be so arrogant as to believe that you cannot be taught. Okay, what do we got here? There is a lot of change going on in your environment and within you. A new you is being formed. So, like I said earlier, if you feel like you've been going through the fire, Bharani Nakshatra, this is to purify yourself. Get out of your old stuck ways. As I already know that you made it through very victorious. You walked through the fire and did not get burned. You're someone who knows how to patiently observe yourself, your emotions, your thought process, your environment, mysteries of the esoteric, connection with the universe. So you've shed a lot of egos in the past couple of weeks, I'm assuming. The new moon probably helped you get in the pressure of incubation to crack that shell that you were wearing before. And now, with that shell behind you, you're confidently walking into a new life. Three of Wands. You're stepping back and observing your comings and goings, what you've put out, what has returned. You're overseeing some kind of project and it's starting to pay off, right? So things are really coming into fruition for you. And this is, when things do come into fruition, let's put it to you like this, like when people get their taxes, right? They're hood rich for a week and then they're back to being broke, right? Well, this is because you're not pulling yourself out of the environment and standing from a higher ground to see what can actually bring in reoccurring, steady growth in your life, okay? So instead of feeling that hood rich experience where you got to go and spend it all, buy it all, show it all, flash it all, right? You should step back, pull yourself out of the hustle and bustle. Take a look over your life, your environment, your wants, your needs, your works, your efforts, your time, your material. And see what is the proper course of action. Okay. The Nine of Cups wanted to show itself. Oh, here we go. Okay. So we've got the Queen of Pentacles. You want to be a keeper of your own home, your own sanity, your own body, your own life. To do this, you have to be appreciative of what you have. You see how she is honoring and cherishing that pentacle, right? Because that pentacle has produced all of this fruit in her life and bought her this nice chair, this very optimistic sky behind her, and her properties, her land. So this is a card of using your money wisely, using your time and attention wisely, balancing the pleasures in life with indulgences. Kind of, hey, we don't always need indulgence, right? It's good on special occasion, but you're being called to really value what you have, what you've done in life, how far you've made it, what you've brought into the earth, your children, your families, your spouses. A Queen of Pentacles is like the total happy wife, spouse, mother, and homeowner, because she knows that everything she got was patiently built, was planned, saved, and prepared for. All of her fruits were planted by seed, tended with care, kept the weeds out, meaning negative influences, out of your mind. If you plant a garden, right, let's just put it in this way. If you are trying to cultivate a healthier, happier, healthier, more enjoyable life, but you keep allowing wounded authority figures and societal norms to trample all over, of course, yeah, I love some dandelions. Dandelion tea's good. To trample all over your garden, the seeds will never break. You're just gonna keep putting in wasted effort. So understand that tending and cultivating your own life means to put things that are damaging and disrespectful, non-appreciative of your efforts in life outside the gate, where they cannot destroy the garden. Because this is your new life. 10 of Pentacles. Tradition, generational wealth, a home, property, family, loyalty, grandchildren. You don't have to be in such a hurry anymore. You've earned this life. A long journey from a very empty, naive, arrogant, and out of control person to a very wise and confident leader who leads from wisdom and experience, a controlled thought process rather than a hot-headed, sporadic mentality. You've overcome many demons of the mind to be comfortable in your own mind. And this allows you to be open, receptive, and able to see through the manipulations, lies, and distortions of others. So you deserve this. This is a very good card for you. Let's see what planetary energies would like to assist you on your journey today. The moon, the sixth pentacle of the moon. And let me get the literature on that for you. Four, five, six. The Rainmaker. This pentacle is very good to excite and cause heavy rains. There's a lot of pentacles on here. Rain is very good to sustain your garden. If it be engraved on a plate of silver, on the hour of the moon, on the day of the moon, Monday. What the metaphor for calling or exciting and causing heavy rains is to burst open all the foundations of the great below so that the earth can be restored. So bring all the good into your life. Let me see, what else can you use this one for? Oh wow, there's a lot to this one. You know, you might want to pick up this book. It's helpful. Okay, so it talks about the symbolism in it. This pentacle works good with the lunar lock and key. So what I would use this one for is opening your unconscious mind with the lunar lock and key. Let me get that for you. I believe that is the first pentacle of the moon. Yes, it is. First pentacle of the moon, lunar lock and key. This pentacle, as you draw and recite the statements for it, it opens your unconscious mind by stating, underworld God who pushes down the latch of divine consciousness, open these gates. So combine the sixth pentacle with the first pentacle of the moon to open your unconscious and allow the blessed rains to come down and water your soil. There's a lot of seeds planted in your unconscious right now, basically. So your unconscious mind has a lot of things ready to grow for the future, right? For your new life, for this 10 of Pentacles, this new cycle in life, right? This very optimistic, happy, wise, and well-educated path you're on. So combine those two and allow your ideas to be nurtured. This could also entail, you know, like we spoke about, push away from societal norms for a little bit, go through your own thoughts, process them, and see what is going to work. I'm going to pull a couple cards from the Viking Tarot, and then we'll call this end. Five of Wands. You may have had a lot of people challenging you in a witch hunt. This is a witch tied to a stake with 5 wands attacking her. So this is being falsely accused by people who are led by pride, arrogance, ego, and ignorance. They didn't have the full details, but they wanted what you had, or what you have, or what is coming. So they started all kinds of chaotic shit to try to bind you to the stake and burn you on the pyre. This ain't gonna work. Why? Because you are the one who has walked through the darkness with your nothing but your own light and a staff. People who go on witch hunts are terrified to walk through this darkness alone. They need all these other dick sticks to fuel their fire because they don't know their inner light just yet. They see in you this wise leader, this guide through the darkness, this guide who knows the way through hell and out of hell. Hell is in your own mind. You create it with your own attachment to ignorance. So your wisdom and ability to handle the dark with ease is actually the guide and the guiding force that brought these challengers to this witch hunt. But now they're seeing the power in the light that you give, because you also give wisdom in a calm and gentle way. You've taken plenty of time to pull yourself away from the chaotic, competitive world to dive into the truth of stillness, Isa on his forehead. Your patience and effortless mastery over vicious beasts is bringing in a lot of fulfillment in your life. The Strength card and the Nine of Cups. A true warrior does not need to bark, because one simple touch can tame a monster. And that's how it should be. And this is bringing in all the things that you wish for your emotional fulfillment. Live your life with passion and purpose. And don't be afraid to go on your ventures. You deserve this life. It is your enlightenment. You're waking up. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. And if you know me in the real world, I'll see you soon.